Hello YouTube. So today you are going to review how to solve linear equations. Now what I mean by solve linear equations, well, whenever you have an equation that looks like this, you have just one variable and then a bunch of numbers, but this one variable does not look like n is equal to a number. Solving it means you going from this state of the equation to here. Same thing on this side. You have one variable, k. You want to make that into k is equal to a number. Solving it means we're turning the equation from this form into this. That's what that means. Now, there are a few rules you must remember in this order. Step number 1. Simplify each side of the equation using PEMDAS. PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. I don't think I need to go over this. These examples down below do not need to be simplified because they're already in the simplified forms on each side of the equation. Now, when you're doing PEMDAS, here's some tips. Number 1, combine like terms. So if you have something that looks like 2x plus 3x is equal to 5, combine these terms. You should get 5x is equal to 5. Another tip is that if you have a number in front of a parentheses, always do distributive property. So if you have something that looks like, do I have space? Yeah, I do. 3 times x plus 2, get that, distribute the 3 to every single term within the parentheses, and you should get 3x plus 6. Don't really think I need to go into that much detail there either. Let me erase this real quick before I move on. We need this part, tips. All right. So step number 1, after you simplify each side of the equation using PEMDAS, we go to step number 2. Solve for the variable means isolate for the variable. Once you have simplified each side of the equation using PEMDAS, then what you do to one side, you're going to need to solve. What do I mean by solve? You need to do something like down here, get n by itself. Variable by itself. So what you do to one side of the equation, equal sign, you must do to the other. I'll show you some examples. No, technology, there it is. Now let's do some examples. Example number 1, we have 2n minus 7 is equal to negative 1. Step number 1, to get n by itself, add 7 to both sides of the equal sign. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. You're left with 2n is equal to 6. If you want to get n by itself, divide both sides by n. Divide both sides by 2, and you get n is equal to 3. Voila. Simple. Number 2. We have 3k plus 2 is equal to 11. 3k divided by 5 plus 2 is equal to 11. Step number 1, I want to get this term by itself. Subtract 2 from both sides of the equal sign, and you're left with 3 over 5k is equal to 9. Now I have a 3/5 in front of the k. How do I get rid of it? Multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the fraction. All you have to do is flip the fraction. These fractions cancel out. You're left with k is equal to 9 times 5 is 45 divided by 3. Second answer. Aha, now these, the PEMDAS come into play. Either of these sides, or one of the sides is not simplified. Why? Because you can still use a distributive property. Let's do that. Number 1, do the distributive property. You get negative 2 times 5 is negative 10, plus 6x is equal to 2. Now that we've simplified each side, now we can solve for the variable. Add 10 to both sides. 6x is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 6. And you get x is equal to 2. And you are done. Please do this one by yourself. Pause the video and try that one by yourself. Lastly, here's one more example. If we notice, this side is not simplified. So let's simplify that. Step number 1, distributive property. Negative 3 times 2m minus 1. Oh, I'm only doing, by the way, I'm only doing distributive property here because if we follow the PEMDAS rule, parentheses, well, there are no parentheses. Well, there is, but we can't simplify 2m minus 1. So we're done with the parentheses. We don't have any exponents. All we're left with multiplication, division. Well, multiplication is also the distributive property, so that's why I'm doing distributive property first. It looks as though I skipped these 2 steps. I did, but that's only because it does not exist in this problem. So step number 1, distributive property. We're left with negative 6n plus 3 is equal to 3m plus 21. I want to get m by itself. Well, I'm going to add 6n to both sides of the equal sign. We're left with 3 is equal to 9m plus 21. Subtract 21 from both sides, and you're left with negative 18 is equal to 9n, which leaves us with n is equal to negative 2. Alright, please do this one now by yourself. Once you're done with those 2 examples, move on to the next page, which is down here. Oh wait, no, one more thing. Yeah. Once you're done with these 2, go to the next page. I have something extra. So extra, direct variation, directly proportional, hot off the press. I know, that was lame. But this is a reference to Newsies during the 1830s. I don't know if you guys covered that in history class, but they were newspaper boys that sold paper to people. So what is direct variation? What is directly proportional? Well, this is something that's going to show up on the STAR exam. When they say direct variation or directly proportional, it's another way to say if you have a number x, then another number y, they are related by multiplying x by m, or similarly, y is equal to mx. If that's confusing, let's look at this example down here. the value of y is directly proportional to the value of x. That means y is equal to a number m times x. When x is 3.5, the value of y is 14. That means when x is 3.5, the value of y is 14. What is the value of y when x is equal to 28? So this is a step where first you have to solve for m. How do I do that? Isolate the variable. Divide both sides by 3.5. And you're left with m is equal to 4. So the relationship that y and x have is that y is always 4 times x. So if y is 4 times x, look at the question, what is the value of y when x is 28? Well, y is always equal to 4 times the value of x, which what they're asking for is 28. Therefore, y is equal to 4 times 28, which is 112, and we are done. All right, here's the exit ticket. Please do these 5 problems on your own. Once you are done, show me your work and your answers, then you can move on to the next video. Thank you.